One of my favorite demotivational posters is the one showing a sinking ship with the caption, "Mistakes. It could be that the only purpose of your life is to serve as a warning to others." So rather than cop to any expertise, I like to think of myself as someone who has made every mistake and kind of sort of learned from them sometimes, and maybe can pass something along to you. And unfortunately, the kind of mistakes you make aren't born out of malice. They're simply the expansive, well-intentioned things any decent person would do. That's exactly the sort of thing that will get you into trouble. Kind subscriber Matt writes, "I just caught up with your YouTube channel this morning. Sounds like you've had a rough time. I've been through various troubles as well, so good luck. I suggest learning to channel your inner asshole instead of being nice all the time. It seems to be working for me." Well, Matt's right there. Despite casual accusations of misogyny, I like women. I used to be the kind of guy when I was younger who generally got on with women because women could be my friend. Obviously, the decades haven't been kind to that point of view, and more than anything, I feel utter sympathy for any guy in this current generation who has to navigate not only being married to women or dating women, but even have casual relationships with women. Although it's not just younger women, as the attitude of entitlement and callous mercenary narcissism has wicked up into even my generation of women. Or maybe they just soured. And now the blood in circulation is tainted with that sick sepsis. Now, of course, men have the same problem, but I think women are riding the crest of the wave when it comes to the normalization of narcissism, which presented a bit of a problem as I grew older. In trying to hold on to my younger, nice guy view of women while being chronically mistreated. To use the terminology that's current, my skill set when it came to women was entirely blue pill. I was nice, understanding, attentive, fun, the obligatory activity planner, and getter of things done. Part of the reason was I come from, on one side of my family, some profoundly foul-tempered people. The men were abusive, even as understood at that time, and the women were just fucking nuts. Growing up, my father could be a bit distant, and it was only when I was mature enough to understand it I realized that because of the way he was treated, he was afraid of being the same and sort of emotionally quarantined himself, especially considering he had a precociously intelligent yet emotionally retarded little asshole for a son. People may not believe this, especially in a generation where being tactless and selfish and giving vent to whatever grievance-collecting shit pops into one's head, but I never heard my parents argue. I barely ever heard them raise their voices. And as I inherited the foul temper that seemed to skip a generation, when I grew into myself, I put that into check. You know, growing up, people in restaurants would, after groaning because they see some kids come into a nice place, they would compliment my parents on how well behaved my sister and I were. And that's due to the fact that I never, ever heard my parents say, "Don't do that, Mike. I'm warning you, Mike. Please, Mike, stop doing that." We got timeouts in the car without dinner. And if you were very lucky, you got one warning. One warning for something new and different. You didn't get one for ground already covered. And to this day, and I even talked to them about it over Easter, I'm eternally grateful to them for that. Because whatever you think your little fucking issue is, you can always unlearn it, or at least not act on it. In relationships, I don't argue. Well, I will argue, but like someone who has a degree in analytic philosophy, what I won't do, what I won't do and can't be provoked to do is stand there and trade bullshit vitriol that no one really means. It's just the mustard gas of people who can't or won't or don't know how to fight fair. I literally can't stand there face to face with someone I care about, even in the most superficial way, and go for the jugular. And I've had relationships where the women somehow felt cheated by this. In fact, I've heard some idiot women claim that this failure to engage and the ability to just walk away is itself abusive. In which case, they can piss me off in text messaging. I really don't know what it is, but I can go places in text that I could never do face to face. Maybe because it's somehow not real, because the person isn't there to update me on what I liked about them in the first place. Maybe because it's also cold and remote and I have to seek some level of emotional engagement that spills out into anger. More than likely, though, it's because anyone who gives me attitude via text, who pokes me with a stick from a distance, doesn't deserve any respect and should be hearing the scream of Stuka dive bombers coming through their smartphone as I lay waste to whomever the fuck they think they are. Not to say I don't feel bad about it. Recently, I felt really, really bad about it. But I also realize that if and when it happens, that angry reaction isn't because I'm not getting my own way, but because rather it's the point at which I reach escape velocity and break free from someone's orbit. However, I also realize that feeling bad about it is the essential tension not only between someone constitutionally bad-tempered who learned to mitigate it, but between nice Mike and asshole Mike, one being my default state, and the other one I have to be sometimes for my own self-preservation. And so I didn't have to dig too deep into my mental archive to find a perfect example or two of why I'm not so quite nice anymore, especially when it comes to women. Truly, fuck that. And fuck this. I had originally intended this video to be a semi-private, maybe even subscription only for the people throwing a couple of bucks my way, as greedy as that might seem. However, in the interest of channeling my inner asshole, I'm just going to lay it all out there. And besides the voyeuristic fun of it all, maybe some lessons can be parsed from this. So here's the background you need. A decade ago, I met a woman. Tall, thin, elegant, kind of like the Ukrainian Katharine Hepburn, or so it seemed. And she turned out to be superficially charming and quite good at man-pleasing, mirroring behavior. And despite whatever effort and good intentions anyone had, it didn't last. As a borderline personality, she had two binary modes. You were either wonderful or Satan himself. And she could turn on a dime. She was in decline, divorced, stopped going to her job, and finally ended up being involuntarily committed for psychological evaluation on at least one occasion when she was back living with her parents, where I later learned, when I briefly reconnected years later, the big issue then was that she wasn't allowed to have her lipstick. And at one point she had sent a picture of herself with a black eye as a friend, totally unprovoked no doubt, had punched her in the eye. So not too long after I cut ties, I got a call from an Arlington County police detective. I was walking through this little underground courtyard connecting the Ronald Reagan building with Federal Triangle Metro. It's the same little circular pit they used in the film Minority Report. And I sat on the steps and listened. Because according to this detective, who didn't have a hint of hesitation in his voice, that he was telling and not asking, this woman accused me of breaking into her apartment and terrorizing her. But after I listened for a while, I had this strange feeling of both terror and elation, because the date she described, the day in question, was what I called her cat shopping day. Now, I don't know if her mother really wanted a cat, and maybe this is a flight of fancy itself. She was given to that. But she wanted me to help her pick out a cat for her mother. The significant thing is I showed up outside her condo, called her, and she told me to walk in. I knocked instead, and I don't remember a great detail about it to this day because I didn't have to. I was videotaping the whole time, given the significance of Cat Shopping Day. So here's the day that I was supposedly terrorizing her.
Around.
Great moments in... Oh, look at this. She's got a cord around my neck. See this? This is evidence right here.
Evidence of what?
Memories,
Wires gone long.
like the coroner in my mind.
No. What? Oh, look. Good position.
Oh my god.
Hey.
Are you like one of these people who would film their child taking a crap? This is his 5th crap. I'm so excited.
Actually, I'm the kind of person that would put my shit on ratemypoo.com.
Not that I ever did that.
I don't even take the time to acquaint myself with it. I just sort of send it on its way. No.
Were you going to say something snuggy?
Yeah, and her body is buried down by the railroad tracks, and that night, September 12th,
Then I thought she was joking.
2003, we killed Peter Smith Johnson.
I love a good confessional.
No.
Man,
Boring subject.
we must force you to eat pie. Pie. Lots of pie.
You're saying that I don't have big guns?
Well, a little exercise wouldn't hurt either, but we really need to get some feed into you.
At this point, she looked like she was at
You
DACA.
need to put the old feed bag on.
Oh, so full.
We need you to have protein
As
no
she
matter how
pulls
we
out
get
her
it into
gum.
your system.
This is just too much. God.
Oh, she's full. She had her gum.
Now remember, the purpose of this whole exercise is to spot the moment that she's terrorized. Because this is the day in question.
Obsessive compulsive. I do eat.
She says she's
Just don't have
obsessive
much
compulsive.
appetite lately.
Well, maybe in addition to.
What's going on?
You're just stressed. You're trying to sell the place.
Oh yeah, try to be understanding,
It's
Mike. That's going to work.
Doing it for me.
There's Frank with his monogamous porn relationship.
She had
Yes.
this strange relationship with this guy Frank, and we would
That's
talk
the point.
about
I
his
haven't met her yet.
porn.
No, I was talking about Voyeur Web.
I know. I haven't met her yet.
I should turn him on to, the weirder video stuff on the net, like the
Please don't.
no doubt Japanese woman who's extruding a octopus from her vagina.
Is
Hey, an
that
early
why?
P.Z. Myers reference.
I don't think so. it's hard to tell as it, pops out there, whether it's actually alive or maybe it's just stunned or suffocated
Pops out.
yeah.
Why do you do? What compels you?
Because I must stare into the abyss of sick-ass human behavior.
Just
Besides, knowing about
observe
something
them.
is an approval.
That's all you need.
Who's them?
Well,
Why?
because they're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What did
They're
they do?
crazy. Now she goes off. She's got some issue with a neighbor. I never really
take
figured out what
walks
it
at,
was,
like, 1
except
in
she
the
didn't
morning.
like them and thought
That's
they were
not
nuts.
particularly crazy. Maybe they can't sleep.
No, every day, every night.
Maybe work days.
No excuse. Down the lawn.
Or, sleep
or the
days,
yard.
work
They play
nights.
on the grass.
Besides, how do you know they're
They
walking
stack
around at
garbage
1
cans
o'clock in the
all
morning
day,
if you're not
like,
Oh,
walking
these are the
around at 1
stroller
o'clock in
people?
the morning?
Yeah, they make my neighbor trip over it.
Oh. She's got her.
She's got this wig. It's magenta and it's got devil
Come on, put
horns
it on
on it,
again.
which I guess is kind of appropriate.
This could be really sick either way.
That would go so well with your corset, too. Oh, what are you doing?
Those were the days.
What are you doing?
What she's doing is she's taking
don't
this wig and
know,
she's
it just
stuffing it
seems
down the front of her jeans like it's a merkin.
Surefire way to-
I guess it's a symptom of terror doing
Does
this.
the carpet match the drapes?
It's close, though. I mean, it's a little more fiery red. I would have that looked into. You might need some lotion.
Oh, I don't think it was
It's
a
like
crotch that needed looking
Lindsay
into.
Lohan's fire crotch. Look, I've even got a happy.
Oh, you're talking about me, and you know about Lindsay Lohan's fire crotch.
Yeah,
and
well,
I
that's
didn't.
all over the TV.
And this is
Oh,
before
what?
Lindsay Lohan went into a big decline. Oh, yeah, shake it. Oh, the terror. Oh, the horror.
How what?
Oh, woe is me.
Can we go find a cat?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go. Why that day? I think in her vindictive mind, it was like a shallow little twist of the knife, a little stab she could make at me that would never penetrate very deep. Just her way of saying, I didn't get you here, but I could if I really wanted to. And of course, she realized the penalty for filing a false report and wasting everyone's time and harassing me in the process would be exactly what it was. Not a thing. And just to pad out the accusation, she also accused me of putting pictures and video of her on the internet, knowing exactly how that would sound. Although the worst thing you can say to a detective is, I have no idea what she's talking about, I had no idea what she was talking about. Because, like the cop, my brain was stuck in an ex-boyfriend porno site mold. And actually, what she was talking about was this. Let me apologize in advance for making you sit through this, but it's evidence. It's like an entire Beethoven music video made from outtakes. And there's a picture of her on the internet, according to what she told the police. It's so fucking salacious. Keep walking. Oh shit, I caught up to her. She's at the crossroads. A lot. Wow, that old movie effect. It seemed so cool at the time. But that kind of aperture, it's like I'm filming through a quivering sphincter. Then again, I had to dress it up because by definition a cemetery isn't the most exciting filming location. But she wanted to go there. I don't know, is that a big red flag? You tell me. It's a beautiful piece of music. Too bad it had to be tainted by this memory. Although there are some really beautiful effigies that they have. Oh, I was thinking there's an idea. Preserve your escape route, but she's already there. You know, it just occurred to me, Beethoven is in the public domain, but it doesn't mean that some copyright squatter isn't going to hit me for this. Yeah, that old film effect. That's what happens when you attach a cheese grater to your projector. Twirl! Twirl! Come on! No. If I knew then what I knew now, that would be spinning. I thought, you know, her with the statue was kind of artsy. And I guess that's why they put it there. Look very closely. See if there's a nail clipper in there. I guess she was supposed to be holding something at some time. Another blocked escape route. Oh, I think it's coming up. Again, I apologize for making you sit through this shit. I try to end with like a big flourish. Kind of artsy thing that someone who just learned Windows Movie Maker would do. This. Anyway, that's me putting pictures of what's-her-name on the internet, as reported to the Arlington County Detective. Oh yeah, and there's also these photos. Now, about the same time I went to London for a visit, and I got to see my aunts in London and Cornwall, and I met up with a woman I met online that came across as knowledgeable about London and art to the Tate Metro in London and the Tate St. Ives near Cornwall. As the only car available was a stick, and she couldn't drive them, I was let loose across the English countryside in a rented Peugeot, the roads and controls reversed, and with no idea what those foreign road signs and lines meant. And after kicking around for a bit, we had a bit of a falling out. No harm, no foul. She had timed it exactly for the night before I was leaving anyway, and I was more than a little relieved to board the flight home. When I was sitting on the tarmac at Gatwick waiting for the flight home to taxi, there was an altercation at the front of the plane. Some drunk had begun mouthing off, and the police had been called to forcibly remove him. So I reach into my bag and pull out my camcorder. And when I try to start filming, I get a little no media warning. The fuck? I open it up, and there's no mini DV inside it. And it dawns on me. That crazy thieving bitch had stolen my tape from the camera. All my footage of her, which was probably 15 seconds of the back of her head, plus the Tate Modern, street scenes, all interactions, my Aunt Maureen at the British Museum, my Aunt Laura at the seaside at Cornwall, all gone, nicked as it were. So because the crazy thieving bitch had stolen the tape from my camcorder, when I got back I wrote that the crazy thieving bitch had stolen the tape from my camcorder. And as far as the truth goes, it didn't seem to be much of a stretch. The problem was that the psycho ex-girlfriend, she of the completely bogus accusations and trips to the psycho ward, had written me off, completely forgot about me, relegated me to just a memory, a receding dim bulb in her rearview mirror, and was so disinterested that she was reading my stuff, in which I mentioned that this piece of work had lifted the tape from my camcorder, something that she admitted to. And so Psycho Bitch number 1 got in touch with and started comparing notes with Psycho Bitch number 2. And then I was hit with this delightful double whammy voice message. Now this is going to be good. By the way, Bleep, how you doing?
I really don't care what you write about me. It's rather flattering that you've got someone
Flattering. I
to
wrote
about
that you
this.
stole the
I
tape
think
out of my
you guys-
camcorder.
But you better leave alone. She's very fragile and she doesn't need your shit.
They thought so in the psych ward,
We're
too.
going to the police today, both of us. We're going to go to Cuvian and we're going to stop
Yeah,
you.
okay. You do that. You go to the
I'm not
police.
Leah.
They're probably looking for you
I've
anyway.
got a lot more contacts, and if I could be bothered,
Dealers.
could do a lot about this. But you're just not worth it.
But thanks for the voicemail.
So I really hope that you reconsider posting anything about her because it's not going to be
I
worth
didn't
it. This
post
isn't a
anything
threat,
about her.
Which is why I'm leaving a message. It's just a warning. Leave her alone. She's suffering
Yeah, that's
enough
not a
from
threat.
you.
It's just a warning. Bye-bye, nutcase.
Yesterday at 7:23 a.m.
Now, I don't know what she did, if anything, but I know what I did, which was call the Metropolitan Police in London, explain the theft, play the recording, and they were very understanding and very interested. You see, the irony of the woman with contacts, the one going to the police, was that she had previously left New York by way of Rikers Island and had just been released from Her Majesty's Prison Downview, a place that had such good accommodations for a woman of her taste and status that she went back for a revisit a couple of years later. So, get the lesson? Yeah, well, of course, never put yourself in a position where your former harasser by proxy can collude with your current one. But aside from that, I'll lay it out for you. 1. Vet every woman you deal with. Don't give any woman the benefit of the doubt, ever. If you have to bring the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Index questionnaire with you on a first date to weed out the batshit nuts ones, you do it. Having a psychologist as paid consultant and wingman is also not a bad idea. 2. Avoid unapologetic nutcases. If you have a woman who unsolicited offers up her psychological condition, run far, far away. Not that you should find it out the hard way either, but it's not just a case of dealing with someone who is bipolar or depressive or borderline. Because they told you, they made that disclosure, it will be an ironclad rationalization for whatever they do to you, regardless of how shitty that is. If you want to be a savior, find a cross and have someone nail you to it. Trust me, it's easier. 3. Some women lie a lot about their age, about their relationship status, about how wonderful or abusive their prior relationship was, about their intent. 4. As a corollary, some women don't feel bad about lying because they have no sense of honor. Their reward isn't in doing the right thing regardless. It's in getting what they want when they want it. And if it all goes south because you didn't do your due diligence, then number 5, record everything. Seriously, if you have a girl who won't let you give her a good deep dicking in the red light glow of your camcorder, go find another one. And I'm only being slightly hyperbolic. 6. Save everything forever. You think there's a statute of limitations on that bitch's bullshit? Guess again. 7. Nothing that you did, do, or will do actually matters. Remember that. No matter what you do, some crazy bitch can always interpret it in the most uncharitable way possible, even at the cost of having to pretend to be retarded. 8. Crazy bitches have no limits. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, some vindictive, crazy bitch won't do to you after the fact to punish you for slights, real and imagined, especially if you just walked away. 9. Preserve your escape route. You can tell a woman your actual phone number and where you live after you've been married to her for 5 years. Back in the day, it would have meant having a burner phone, but it would have been worth it. And all you need now is a burner app, so you have no excuse. Besides, chicks dig room service. And 10, assume the worst. That way, they can never disappoint you.